Y'all, I have a story and I'm gonna try to make it short, but I really want to talk about it because, again, so many people that are not God people, that are not Bible people, have heard or understood the way that they grew up that it's just a bunch of rules that seem crazy that you should have to follow. But it's like a guidebook that explains how to live a happy, stress-free, healthy life. And that can sound really boring. I can understand that. Sometimes it is boring a little bit. And I'm going to talk about this because, number one, you don't hear that many people talking about it. And I'm 40 and I can. So, anyway, sometimes when I don't understand things, or I don't understand the purpose of the standard or whatever, like why is this a better idea, and I talked to God about it. And remember when I was talking about how Saul went conjuring up dead bodies because God wasn't answering him. And so I kind of went through that the other day when I was like, I really needed some insight into some next steps. And I just wasn't had all this anxiety, which is probably my own fault for drinking 2 pots of coffee a day. I keep trying not to do that and then I forget. I keep doing it. And my schedule's all wacky. But I wasn't getting the answers that I wanted. And I get frustrated. I'm because I'm a very move forward person onto the next thing. And what God keeps telling me that I need to do is to slow down, take a deep breath. No matter what the chaos is coming from the rest of the world, what he keeps telling me to do is I'm not done healing what I need to heal to get to where he needs me to be. And that's hard for me. It's a hard situation for me to be in because I feel like I have all these other responsibilities. And God's saying, this is your responsibility. Don't worry about what's happening because he's taking care of it, even though that's the hardest part. You don't know what God's doing to take care of it. So it feels wrong, but what's right is to check, double check, triple check, God, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And do that. If you believe that, and you'll see. So we have some very honest conversations in this house. And this house is mostly just me. Sometimes Jackson when he's not in his room or doing whatever he wants to do without me. So it's pretty much me and God a lot of the time. So I was frustrated on my next steps and exactly, the place where I need to move to, and I need to accomplish a lot of things before that happens, and I would like a regular job so I have some predictability in my life. And he keeps saying that's not what we're doing right now, and it's hard for me to have that faith in uncertainty. So anyway, I have a friend that I guess I've never been married. I don't really date much. I'm not a very sexual person. I'm not an asexual person, but in most situations I really could care less. Even though I have a sense of humor about it, I can talk about it, but usually if there's something more interesting to watch or do, I'm gonna do that instead. And it's just the way that I am. People don't understand it. I get it, but it's just the way that I'm wired, I just have different channels, right? I'm sure everybody does. But anyway, so I realized that when you deal with other people, sometimes their needs are different than yours. And if you have a friendship, or whether it was somebody and you don't have time to spend with each other, sometimes you make entertainment. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so I wasn't really I didn't really have any thoughts about it. I was just well, whatever, it doesn't bother me. So anyway, a couple of days later, I'm frustrated, maybe a day and a half later, and I'm like still not getting answers, and I'm so super frustrated. And so I'm like, what's going on? Like, I need an answer, right? I kid you not. I'm not even kidding. Some of the production equipment I used, like jumped out of my closet. Like, it was on the shelf, like in a stable place, and just like bloop, jumped onto the floor. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm like, okay, so that's like against the rules or what? Like exactly why? So, and I'm telling you this because I don't think that like teaching and learning is something that we should be ashamed or embarrassed about. I think we're adult people. We know what we know. I'm 40 years old and I've never been married. Like, and I've been through a few men. Like, and I don't think that that's something that I need to be ashamed of. If I knew what I know now, I may have gone about things differently, but I didn't, and it's in the past and it's over. And like, I talk to God all the time. He's not mad at me about the way that I have done things. We talk about how I'm going to do things from now on. And that doesn't mean that I didn't believe or I didn't have this relationship with God before. It means it's at a whole different level now. And that comes with a little bit more complication. And which sometimes seems like you're running into like, okay, so what can I do? I don't drink alcohol anymore, and that just kind of happened because I got really busy. And so then I was like, I guess I don't need it. And then I was like, oh, I feel like garbage. Want to do that? I'm just not gonna do it anymore. But that's when it really started. Like, things started like speeding up, and like super information download. It's crazy. But it's like when you take that weight off of your body, it's like you have more channels open for productive things. I think that's just how it goes. Or maybe it's just the time I was in. I don't know. But I've had like a beer and a half and I don't know how many months, and I really could care less. Like, I like it, but I just like, I'm doing stuff and it kind of gets in the way. I don't really have time to catch a buzz. Anyway, I like drinking coffee too, and tea and water, whatever. So back to, I was like, all right, so this is getting complicated. Obviously, we're people. The earth is like super populated. Doesn't really stand to reason that like we're just supposed to like not have sex unless we're making a baby. And maybe that is the way, Anyway, so after some study and some discussion back and forth, I realized that what I did wrong is that what I was doing was not like it wasn't to facilitate a real connection that mattered. It was simply like lustful. And even though that sounds fun or whatever, it wasn't something that was like gonna build a relationship between two people. And it was something that like is just kind of, I guess, stimulating in a really superficial kind of way. So I was like, all right, that makes sense. Like, I'm down with that. Like, boring, but whatever. I get it, So that makes sense. And then, it's not like Jesus didn't say, and then Paul reiterates whatever in 1 Corinthians about how it's good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. So it's natural that you want to have that kind of interaction, like between man and woman, and it's obviously, because that's a human urge that's very powerful. But it also turns out that that powerful like urge, that energy that goes into that kind of thought process, like, it can be channeled elsewhere. Like, your body can do all kinds of really cool things that you don't even know about. that we don't even think about. And so part of, praising the Lord at all times, or, not having idols and having one God, is that when your attention is on God's intention for you and what is going to build your character and what's going to build you into a stronger, more faithful, more on purpose person, that those distractions are not so much of an issue. But if you allow yourself so many distractions and to that intensity, because your mind is very powerful, and whatever you focus your attention on, can be overwhelming. If you're somebody like me, I'm naturally a very obsessive person. Turns out I have the ability to obsess or focus that intention on other things that are a lot more productive. So it's kind of a gift, and was a hindrance for most of my life, but I wasn't using it properly. So instead of having all these ruminating thoughts that focus and overfocus on things that hurt me, or that just waste my time or overthink things, I can channel, it takes practice, it takes a lot of discipline, but I can channel that focus into something a lot more productive. Unfortunately, for these witches that won't leave me alone for some reason, which I don't think is very nice. And normally I don't, honestly, because like I said, your words are very powerful, and like me and Jesus, they're pretty tight, and it's better, I think, that you get it back from me than if it's left up to like what you're gonna get back naturally. So it's not like I can't feel it. Sometimes I end up like, I get irritable out of nowhere, and then I finally realize sometimes that's not even my energy. Like, I have no reason to be irritable. Like, it's not me. I'm picking up on it. And it's hard when you have this, like, you have to really pay attention and contain your energy, because if you're just open, then people can literally suck the life out of you. Especially when people are focusing on, for some reason, what you're doing or how your life is going, even though it's not their business. And speaking negatively, like, you can feel those things, and as your energy is stronger, you can feel them stronger. Sometimes you can hear what they're saying. It's weird. It doesn't feel good, but anyway, you can choose, however, to spin that around and protect yourself and send it right back where it came from. And that isn't something that I typically think you should do. Like I said, I think that those are things that, you can recognize it and you can block it, and, like karma, or however you look at it, is really up to God, because whatever people send out is going to come back to them, and they can beg for God's mercy about it. But sometimes when I'm tired of it and I'm feeling nauseous and like I get intense headaches, and I'm like, where is the hate coming from? Like, I can really feel it. And then as soon as I address it and spin it around, I'm finally like, I've had it, like, like, just banish it and go back to where it came from, and then you instantly feel better. So that's real. But it's like, I don't know, it's like a super hyper sensitivity that can get really wacky. But the same thing in, when you let yourself get overwhelmed by like intense feelings and desires that it's not that there's something wrong with that feeling or that desire. It's that getting lost in it and paying too much attention to it, or like, pining for something that you can't have and thinking about it all the time when like you can't have it anyway. Like, it's not there for you, Same thing with like, it's not that it's a horrible thing to like spread your love around to 12 people. It's just that it's unnecessary chaos and feelings get involved, and then it fills up your head with like all these different relationships to think about and all these things to compare and all these whatever. Like, it's so much easier to just have a simple life. Just like pick one and go with it. I think I'm not that complicated. But I mean, I think you should be picky about the one you pick, but like, I don't think you need a bunch. Like, why do that to yourself? I don't want to do that to myself. I don't like feeling that way. Like, I don't want to be in a relationship with a person and be like, ever have to worry that that person is like messing around with somebody else. Like, I don't even want that. I just won't do it. Like, I'd rather just sit here by myself and have my coffee, you know? But it's just because, like, I could do that, or I could go date 12 people, but I like simple, you know? I don't want my head full of stuff like that. I want my head full of stuff that's, like, really cool. So, anyway, it was an interesting lesson, and I think it's important because while there's nothing wrong with, like, a respectful union between two people, and I don't think that there has to be some law about marriage on paper. You know, a commitment is a commitment, and that's me. I'm not God, but I don't see how like having multiple partners is good for everyone. You know, I think for most people it's not. Or like instilling and instigating like a lustful situation when it really is like your body can do so many amazing things, and we should be keeping our bodies healthy. Not only for like health issues, you got to be careful. Like, you know, I'm not trying to mingle my body with like anybody I don't know. Like, if I don't really know you, it's not happening. Or if I don't really want to know you, you know, like, I'm just not going to go there. But, you know, it's not safe to do that for one thing. And then even if you are being safe, there are, like, emotional implications. And that's why it says, you know, it's better if you don't even have to be in that situation. But for most of us, like, we're people and we need that bond and that interaction with people, or really want it. And that's good for you, too. But it's not good for you to overcomplicate it. And actually, you know, when you are intimate with another person, you literally mingle your microorganisms. You literally like blend yourselves together. And so there is that residual, like, every part of your body is a vibration, really, you know? And when you mingle your body with somebody else's, it's like, you don't only take your own pieces back, like, you have blended. And then, so how many people you want to blend with, and then feel everybody's chaos, and then it's just a disaster. So, you know, the body really is a temple for things much holier than the regular happenings of the flesh. And as you kind of go through things and develop that relationship, you know, with God, your body, there's a physical change, you know, you change physically, you change mentally, you change emotionally, and so you're more careful about the people you interact with, the things that you think about, and the things that you do. So I just thought I'd bring that up, you know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with you having a conflict with, like, why is that a rule that I don't agree with? All you have to do is ask, you know, all I do is ask God. If I don't get something, I'd be like, but why? You know, and he doesn't always answer me immediately. Sometimes he lets me figure it out for myself, which I think he should do. You know, we should all do that. But sometimes he's like, here, and here, and then like in your face with the people you know. You eventually will get an answer. That's all I have for today. Love you. Please like, share, and subscribe.